and all these meetings are being recorded. We're posting them to YouTube, but people keep joining with these note takers. So we've got, instead of Brittany being here, the Fathom note takers here. We've got some other people with the Otter note taker.
Fathom, is that part of your brokerage?
No. It's another product. So you see Tom's Otter Pilot, Cheyenne's Otter Pilot. So that means they're not here. Tom, are you here? Is it just a note taker? I'm inclined to boot them.
What is this an AI thing that I've missed?
Yeah, they're AI note takers.
Interesting.
Cheyenne, Tom, are either one of you actually here?
So their transcript is going to be us talking about whether or not they're here, and that's going to be the end of the transcript because you boot them out.
Yeah.
You got to show up and interact, guys. So we only got 22. We had like 70 in the last meeting. I wonder if these knuckleheads are just super late. Let's see how many populate in.
Well, we usually wait a few minutes, but I think you watch the interest kind of shine to everyone. Huh?
Yeah, this AI. Hi, I'm an AI assistant helping Cheyenne Worley take notes for this.
Well, where's Cheyenne? Is Cheyenne here?
Yeah, we're gonna boot you. Sorry, Otter. Sorry, Otter Pilot. We're here to network with people. This is, I think it's cool, but it's also kind of silly. Come on. If I didn't show up and meet you on a Zoom, I wouldn't be making what I'm making today. I wouldn't even have a career in real estate. And so an AI bot's not going to get you there. Doss was just showing me this Instagram post of somebody using Go High Level, the AI, and he's reading this chat. And I just told him, I was like, stop reading it. I was like, it's scripted. There's no way that somebody actually got them to send them an address. I know it too deeply. I've had hundreds of conversations through text. There's no way. And he's like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of inclined to, if you don't want to show up and participate, you don't get to record. The last meeting we had a person or two, but they were here, they were in with their note taker and their bad selves. So I think that's feels a little different to me, but watch the replay on YouTube.
Yeah, they actually have AI that can transcript YouTube videos.
Well, go to YouTube and watch that, or I could add that as a service and post them on YouTube as well. I suppose we could add that. So, hey everyone, we plan to do comping today. We're going to focus on some fundamentals. I don't know why I'm suddenly getting hiccups here.
Yeah, guys. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go into comping. So I will say that I've spent hundreds of hours, literally, Gary, you've been in hundreds of my meetings where we're going through comping. You're going through comping with the team that I now have. And it's everything, guys. That's where everything starts off. I will say that, you should get to a point where you'll know a market, you look at a house, and you can almost do it unconsciously at a surface level. And we'll talk about that towards the end of comping in what I call shotgun MAO and what Gary calls as rapid disqualification. Okay, so and essentially, for those of you who don't know what comping is, it's taking comparables in a market so that you can properly associate a value to a property in its retail state. Okay, that's how I define it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to jump in and go over this. So what do you think, Gary? Do you think we should ask them if they've got some comp, if they've got something that they're working on?
Oh, yeah, I definitely, if anybody's got a property that they need to comp, just happens to have one, please raise your hand. Patrick's gonna do most of the comping because he works with tools that you have access to. The tools I usually use to do comping are realtor only tools, like I belong to 3 different MLSs in California, and I'd much prefer to use those because I need to be able to use them well to begin with, although I will use PropStream out of areas. But Patrick also has Privy, and Patrick also can show you how to use Redfin as a good comping tool.
Yeah, those are the 3 main ones that I use: Privy, PropStream, and Redfin. So let's jump into all of those real quick while I'm letting them think about if they've got a property to comp or not. Do we have anything in the chat? You have one. Louisa.
Raise your hand if you have one, Louisa.
Louisa says she's got one in the chat. She was here early. Sure, camera's on. This, I can feel like, you know what? I can tell this woman is going to make some serious money. She's showing up on time. She's got her camera on. She's smiling. All right. Thank you, Louisa. I appreciate you. Okay, so hi.
Yeah.
I want to pin her, so that's why I ask people to raise.
No need close up.
What? You put your clothes on, Louisa.
No, I said no need close up. I have clothes on. Blue as you.
All right.
Yeah. So I have this deal in Arcadia, California. It's I just put it onto the group, the chat. It's 3040 Mayflower Avenue. It's actually asking for 595, and for Arcadia area, I think it's actually really not bad at all. And funny thing is, actually they bought it recently and they're trying to sell it.
Okay, cool.
And I went to see the place. It's actually very much deserted, like the trees, whatever, the grass is actually growing. And when I was looking at the numbers, the neighborhood is selling about, let's say, give and take, it was 800, 880, whatever. I'll say, okay, if I can sell it 850, that would be great. So I did approach the seller, but then somehow the seller agent said there is something wrong with the structure. And then I remember, Patrick, you actually did one of your best deal. You said because of the structure issue, then you're actually able to undercut them. So
well, renegotiate, but not undercut. But yes, you're correct.
Yeah, so I just want to see, let's say, just like that, if I'm comping and all that, saying if I'm going to renovate it, because I haven't had the chance to go inside to see it. So I'm assuming, let's say, for 4 months rent, that I'm going to waste the time, and I mean, having a holding period, you call that. So would that be a good deal?
Okay, well, you're talking about underwriting, which is completely related to comping, but let's comp it first. Let's just talk about how to start there. So
comping is an input to underwriting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just want to figure out what's the value of this.
So it's like one of the most basic things you need to know.
Okay.
In order to be successful in this business.
Okay.
Foundational for everything.
Mm.
I will say that I am fighting the urge to disqualify this one though.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Based on
because you said like a hot word for me, and it was just recently purchased by an investor or just somebody.
Oh, that I don't know.
Yeah, so this looks like an investor to me.
Mm-hmm.
They bought it cash in 2022. So that's not to say that this isn't an opportunity, but generally I'm always keeping those points in the back of my mind because I'm very busy, right? Like I'm working a lot, got 50 opportunities right now that are off market in the pipeline, and I want to like really quickly get to the point. So that all being said, so you're saying what do you, well, let me just, okay, Gary, you're going to hate me. I'm going to go slightly off topic, but what do you think your maximum allowable offer is on this?
720. Yeah.
Okay, so you're well above what they paid for it. Okay, great. Okay, so in that case, then we could take a look at it. So we're a 3-2 at 15. So what we'll do, I want to take a look at this comping sheet for you guys.
Looked like it sold twice in November. Went
Yeah,
from
no.
one investor to another.
Yeah, without even doing anything about that.
Actually, let's go baby elephants. So guys, I'm going to give you this folder. This folder is free for you guys to check out. Inside of here, there's comping with Jamil, appraisal rules. I don't follow these exactly, and I'll tell you the difference of what I do comparatively to Jamil, but these are great. It's a great guidelines as to what to do. Can you guys
Does
see
everybody know who Jamil is? Jamil Damji?
Yes.
Okay.
you guys can you guys see my screen okay? The appraisal rules. Am I on the right screen? Let me try that again.
Jamil is the OG comper. He
Can you
owns
guys see this okay?
Geekly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this would be very helpful to most of you guys if you're new to comping. And the reason that this is important is that number one, it's comping. What comping really is, guys, if you're not good with numbers, if you feel like this is starting to get over your head, you know, not everybody's great with numbers. It's just pattern recognition. That's all comping is, guys. And so we want to try to find close comparables. That's where the word comping comes from, to what we're trying to purchase and then sell or wholesale, whatever it is. Okay, so same subdivision. Typically, if you see in this, it's in the same year, usually it's going to be in the same subdivision. But sometimes you can do like satellite photos and you'll see the difference in what the tract homes look like from an aerial view, and you know it's in the same subdivision. 200 square feet plus or minus. This is a good rule of thumb in terms of size. Same property type. So is it a ranch, a two-story historic? So I'm in California, and this looks like it's a Southern California property. One of the most common ones that I often see are like Spanish style versus just like a normal Victorian or conventional home. That's a huge difference. Like you're going to get more for a Spanish style home, generally speaking. So if it's a completely different style, then you probably don't want to be using that as a comp. Don't cross any major roads. Honestly, I don't necessarily.
You think you're going to get more for Spanish style?
From what I'm seeing in the market, yes.
Depends, doesn't it kind of depend on the market? SoCal's more mid-mod.
In
compared to
SoCal specifically,
NorCal.
yeah, I'm seeing Spanish. Excuse me, I'm seeing Spanish homes go for more, and I've even seen it in weird areas like Sacramento, Northeast Sacramento, where there's a Spanish style home, like a very special one that goes for a ridiculous amount of money. But so anyways, I think it really depends, guys. It's just safe to stick to same property types if you can. So the don't cross major roads, this is going to really depend, guys. If you're in a small market and you don't have a lot of comps to go by, you might want to start to draw outside of the lines. So what I would do, let's just look at this one. I want to give you an example of what I mean by that. So let's go to comparables on a map. So you can see here that this is on this side of the road. You see, this is a major road. But if I look at A here, I want to see that these two properties have relatively the same neighborhood, because at the end of the day, a homestead buyer is buying this, right? So I'm going to search this property's address and I'm going to go to the comp. Let's just say this is a comp, hypothetically. And I'm going to search both of these so I can get a street view. And I'm going to look at the street view and I'm going to take a virtual tour and I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a homestead buyer. Okay, I'm just going to look around and I'm grading this. I'm grading this, you know, A, B, C, D, F. What kind of neighborhood am I in? This is like maybe A minus, B plus, not horrible. And then I'm going to look at the other one and I'm going to look around and I'm asking myself, is this a similar neighborhood? Yes or no? And I'm going to lean towards yes. I mean, it's a maybe or a yes for me. So I think this is a reasonable comp. So you see what I'm doing there, guys? If we're looking at this map, it is crossing a major road. But if I'm stretched for comps and I think this is the only one that I can find, I might use it if the neighborhoods look very, very similar. Okay. All right. Going back to this comping sheet. Construction within 5 years. I actually, honestly, typically I'll do plus or minus 10 years. This one is I think 10 years is fine. For me, also, if I'm comping something that is in like the 1900s, I might go all the way up to 1930. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Gary?
I'm going to go with whatever you say, my friend. I look at it like this: 50s and 60s are very similar, 70s and 80s are very similar, 90s and the 2000s. So I think you can stretch if you have to.
Yeah.
But you know, the style, the building style, what you're gonna, you know, 50s and 60s, 30s and 40s, 10s and 20s, very similar. When you get into 19th century stuff, the late 1800s, you're in a different ball game. You have, you know, primarily brick foundations. This is where we find structures that almost always have foundational issues. So
Right.
this is kind of the way I look at it.
Right. And then this
Oh,
last one says it's better to time travel than leave subdivision. So I would say yes and no. It really just depends. Okay. And so with comping, there is an art and a science. The science is numbers, like just pattern recognition, like I said before. The art is knowing more about the market, where it's located. So if we're, you know, in LA, for example, that's a different market than Sacramento. What are the differences between those markets? And really being able to see the market shifts in that specific area. So let me show you what I mean by that. So taking a look at these comps, I'm scrolling down in this Redfin. You can see, or at least you should be able to see, market data here. So this is showing us the median sale price of homes in this area and what they've done over time, right? So if we're using a comp in the last 3 months, that's 1, 2, 3, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, you can see that the prices have actually gone up. So we know that if we're using a comp in September, the actual true value may be slightly higher. Does that make sense? So it's really, really important that you're looking at that, because when he says it's better to time travel than leave your subdivision, you might be time traveling to a time where prices were a lot higher. And you have to keep that into perspective when you're comping. Does that make sense, guys? By the way, Gary, I'm not keeping my eye on the chat. So if you want to help me out, if there's any like random
Yeah, I
questions.
am.
Okay, cool. Beautiful. All right. So next, adjustments. Okay, so this is where maybe you find a comp, but it's just a little different, right? The most common thing that you're going to see with differences are bedrooms and bath counts. So maybe you've got a 2, 3, and or you know, whatever, a 2, 2, and then a 2, 2.5, right? Or a 2, 3, or a 3, 2, and a 2, 1, right? Bedrooms and bath. You want to subtract pricing. In terms of a bedroom and bathroom, you can go anywhere from 10K to 25K. And it really depends. Why is that? Why is it 10K and why is it 25K? Well, it really depends on the market. Generally, what I say is that if it's in a more high demand area, the higher the price differences should be. Okay, so if you're in places like, you know, LA, for example, which is a high demand area, or the Peninsula in the Bay Area, that's a high demand area, you're going to see a lot larger discrepancy in prices when it comes to missing a bedroom or bathroom. This pool adjustment, I don't necessarily agree with. This is one of the hardest things to comp because it's respective to each market. Again, do more people want pools in the Sun Belt like Arizona and Texas comparatively to, you know, Oregon, Washington, New York? I don't know. It depends. You have to really look at what's sold and you have to figure that out for yourself. But what I would say is if you have a subject, if you're trying to comp a house that has a pool, I would most likely try to find another house that has a pool to figure out what it's actually worth. Okay.
And in the sun, I think Patrick makes a really good point here. In the Sun Belt states, definitely in Southern California, wherever there's a heavy resort industry, especially, outdoor living space is very critical. I mean, it's something as simple as a tiny balcony on a condo in Los Angeles can affect the price by 10%. It has an outsized impact on the value. So there are some places where, and let's keep in mind that Jamil's rules are to cover the entire US. But seriously, just a balcony, a similar sized condo with or without a balcony can change the price by as much as 10% on a condo in Los Angeles or Santa Monica or places like that.
Yep. Yeah. And again, guys, pattern recognition. So if you, the goal here is to try to find something as close as possible. Okay. So we have these other discrepancies as well. We have the garage and the carport, which are considerable differences. So, and then we have lot sizes here that say compare home within 2,500 square feet of the lot size. Yes and no. I mean, I do agree with this, but at the same time, one thing that when it comes to different lot sizes, once you start getting into like 5,000 square foot differences and above, then it's really tough to comp. What I would also say is that if you're trying to value a property that has like a ton of acres on it, you have a smaller buyer pool. And if you're trying to wholesale a property like that, then you're probably going to be spending a lot of time finding a buyer and negotiating the price. So in my opinion, if I have an agent or a seller who brings me a property and it's like, whatever, a 7.4 on 30 acres, I immediately will say, I'm not interested, just because I know it's going to be a lot of work for me. And I could close 2 deals while I'm trying to spin my wheels on something that's not a homogeneous type of property. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so that being said, traffic and commercial, and this is actually a really big one, guys. If you're dealing with properties that are in, more metropolitan areas like I am and my team, you're going to have houses that are siding commercial buildings, backing or fronting busy roads. And it's really important that you know that if it is on a busy road, it's not as desirable. Therefore, it's going to lower its price. So under 350K, because of the price point, we typically take off 10K for siding, backing, and fronting. Fronting really just depends. You want to, again, ideally find a comp that's on a busy road to give you a better idea, but you're going to be taking anywhere from 10 to upwards of 20K. If you want to play it conservative, then you should be subtracting 20K from that comp. Okay. Now, if it's over 500K, because it's a higher price point, typically we're taking a percentage off of the fact that is next to traffic and or a commercial building. Okay. One thing I will say is that we consider churches commercial. Okay. So if it's next to a church, we will actually deduct. So no offense to those of you who like to go to church, but that's just how we run our numbers. Okay, I got a question here. What does siding, backing, fronting refer to? Proximity to a busy road. Yes, Nicholas, that's correct. So if the front of your house is a 2-lane road, right, and it's a busy street, then yes, you are front facing a busy road.
Yeah, if
basement,
your property backs up to an interstate,
right,
that's going to be worth less than one that's 5 blocks from the interstate. And guess what? You can still hear the interstate 5 blocks away. Yeah.
Even if you have a sound barrier, that's a question that I've had before. What if there's a huge cinder block sound barrier? The answer is yes. You're still going to take up that price reduction. Basement, I guess, house only give about 50% of the value of square foot. Honestly, I don't really have a yes or no for that. I think this is another one of those that depends. California is big on ADUs and value adds. So I don't know. Do you have an opinion on that, Gary?
Yeah, well, California really doesn't have basements.
Yeah.
And people understand that basements are there for heating the house. In houses with basements, the furnace is always in the basement, and there's a reason for that. It keeps that floor warm. You wouldn't want to be walking around the first floor on a slab in the middle of the winter. Just don't want to do it. So, and you also need to keep the pipes from freezing.
Jermaine asks, does this apply to public transportation like trains? So Jermaine, open your thinking. This goes to everybody, by the way, not just Jermaine, but open your thinking, guys. When you're making these adjustments, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the homestead buyer. You're standing there by yourself or with your family, you're holding your little kid's hand and you're asking yourself, do I want to move into this house? Am I going to subtract value from what I believe it's worth because it's next to a train station? So what do you think the answer is, Jermaine? Probably yes, right? Okay, let's take a look.
So Ray's making a comment that the pics show that this property is next to commercial.
Cool, let's take a look. Actually, let's identify the value first. Is there a spreadsheet? Should we even do that?
For
I was thinking
underwriting?
about, I guess we'll just comp it real quick.
Yeah, do comping.
For whatever,
We'll do a session on underwriting.
okay, yeah, we'll split that up. For whatever reason, this isn't pulling up in Privy. I don't know why. So, but to be honest with you guys, Privy's not always great. If it says MLS data, I definitely will use it, but this says public record, so it's probably not fantastic. Let me see if I can go.
Is this on market, Louisa?
This looks off. Look, it's off market.
It's off market, actually. It's an expired list. And yeah, it's right. There's a comment about right behind, there is a, because I did a satellite view, there's a car park there, like a big car park. So, but it doesn't, because I drove by there and it doesn't seem noisy, so.
Well, this is SoCal, right?
Yeah, in Arcadia.
So Privy does not have good coverage in SoCal. I mean, it has some, but
Well, no, actually, so it depends, but it's getting better. So I would definitely check in on it, guys, and just take a look. But let's use Redfern.
worse in NorCal though.
So we're here. So we're at okay. So 3-2 at 15, and basically the first thing that I like to do is take a look at the map. So it's near, relatively close to a busy road. We'll take a look at that later. So really, all I have is these. It appears that I've only got, oh, I've got 4 or 5. This is also crossing water. Okay, so what I usually tell people when we're comping is start with the end in mind. So what does that mean? Well, if we're wholesaling this, who are we selling to? We're selling to a flipper. What are they going to do with it? They're going to renovate it, and it's probably going to be retail ready, depending upon the market. And this is a higher price point, so they're probably going to do a good job on this if they flip it, right? So what we're looking for then is something that has sold retail ready. All right, so I've seen 8, 1.4, 1 and 850, 1.1 and 1.1. So really the most homogeneous price that I'm seeing is around 1 million because there's 3 of them. All right, so now I'm looking at the dates, and we want to be as close to this 3-month window of time as possible. The closer to today, the better, because that's where the market is currently at. So we have March, and June, but we know the market went up. So I'm going to take a look at these, and I'm just going to flip through real fast. Again, we're at 3-2 at 15. So 3-2 at 15.
You might want to click in just so people can see it better.
And I'm looking at, is this retail ready?
Certainly looks nicely taken care of.
So it's clean but dated.
A little bit.
Oh, wow. That's groovy. Look at this. Groovy, baby. Yeah. Yeah, this is
Transports me into a black and white 50s TV show.
right. So we know that a nice property in a decent area that is clean but dated will go for about $1 million. Okay. This is why I work in California. And this one also, interesting. Super, super dated.
Well, that looks like it might have been outdoor space at one time.
They have
They have the same wall. It must
Yeah,
have been a
same.
builder's feature.
Yeah,
a metal,
Wow, that's groovy.
no, those are original cabinets, 50s. Yeah,
So
this is,
what's now I'm curious, what's the listing history on this? Because why didn't it sell under $1 million if were they trying to sell this under $1 million? Louisa, do you know?
sold and
No, it started, I saw it was like 550, so they actually didn't raise the price. And then when we call them, and then the seller's agent saying, no, they're asking for 620 minimum, or 600, something like that. So actually they're not trying to make much money out of it. It's a bit weird because they bought it very recently and trying to sell it off, but it's empty now, it's vacant.
This is a screaming deal at 650. I'll have this under contract in less than 48 hours if
I know.
they're actually willing to sell. So, okay, let's take a look at the value. So so far we haven't seen anything retail ready, but we know that a dated and clean property will sell for over $1 million.
well, it's 2-story too. A lot of people, especially
Oh, good point.
especially in this neighborhood. Oh, we lost Louisa.
Oh, did she drop out?
I'll have to see if she's still in.
No, I'm here. Actually, I've probably used another because I changed it to my iPad, so it's bigger.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
So right now, I'm not seeing anything that's retail ready. This one sold for 1.4 in June. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Oh, nice.
This is in a slightly better area. That's why.
Yeah. Super, super clean.
It's been remodeled.
Yep.
And they chose to keep the fireplace as an element of mid-mod. It's very 50s, 60s. Yeah, this place is nice.
Huge, beautiful backyard.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one's a tough one to comp just because number one, Gary pointed out the obvious, it's a 2-story, right?
Yeah.
But
Which makes it worth less in California, generally speaking.
yeah.
Sorry, 2-story is not as good as 1-story. Is that right? You were saying?
Right. Most people prefer 1-story, single-story
okay.
homes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if I have a subject that's a single story and I find a comp that's a 2-story, I'm okay with using that 2-story because I know it's actually more valuable than the 2-story. But I won't do it the other way around. But in this case, I think we will have to because we're not really seeing any 2-story buildings.
Yeah.
There's another thing that you could do. There's 2 ways that you can go about this. And if I went about both of those ways, I'd probably come to the same conclusion. But if we opened up a new window,
I think there was one nearby, which is about 800K. I think that would be the right range because this side of Arcadia and the other side is very different. So I don't think this one can get 1 million at all because it's not in such a nice neighborhood. But I think around the 800K is the right range.
so where are we located? I knew somebody was going to give us a hard comp, Gary. I'm just glad they didn't give us something in Oakland. Oakland is really tough to comp in. Okay, so we're right there. Did I just lose myself? Where the hell's the water?
That
Live
zip code looks like it was gerrymandered.
Oak and Peck Drive. Live Oak Peck Drive. I'm not seeing where am I way out here? Yeah, I'm way out here. Okay, here we go. So these are sold comps. And let's see, we're last 3 months. Let's go 6 months. Yep, I'm not seeing anything in that million range.
Mm.
Yep, no, I think you might be right. It's not a slamming deal at that price.
Mm.
So if we take a look at market data from the last 6 months, you can just type in market data, Redfin, market data. Actually, let me just put the zip code. This should pull up some market data for us. We can kind of see where the trend has been in the last year. All right, so we have sold in October 22. Let's go the last 6 months just to be reasonable. So this
So
is our,
Nicholas, you use whatever you can to get the job done. So for instance, if you want to look at pictures of stuff that you can't find in most sites, what's the site, Patrick?
I'm sorry.
Compass.
Yeah, Compass is
Right?
great for pictures.
Compass is great for looking at pictures when you can't find pictures of the property anywhere else. They tend to retain them from the MLS listings. So it's easier to find the pictures there than any of the other sites. Redfin purges them along with when the MLS does. And Nicholas, if you can't quickly and accurately do it, you're not going to have time to do a lot of deals. One of the biggest things is to be efficient, but that's okay. You can't start that way. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'm seeing this. This is like,
And some are harder than others. Look, Patrick's a beast at comping. Look at all the struggle he's having.
this one's actually a really tough one just because where it's located. So yeah, this one, I'm seeing this at 850, which I think is, if we take a look, it's a 3.2 at 1490. This is a 3.2 at 15, right? 3.2 at 15. So this is a pretty close comparable. It's in the same area. It's backing the same road, but it's, if we take a look at this one, it's kind of dated, but it looks like they staged it. And I think this is pretty close to retail. Very, very clean.
It's a nicer physical curb appeal and everything.
Yeah, they probably could push that price up to 900. So let's just take a look. Let's see. So now what I like to do, and by the way, this is like, we're going deep now, right? So I just want to see, number one, are we in the same area? Do my numbers match, right? Again, it's, we're doing pattern recognition, right? So we're a 3.2 at 14, we're a 3.2 at 15. Our comp is a 3.2 at 14. So let's pull up this one and this one side by side. Let's the lot size. And so we're at 5,000. And it's pretty close. This is negligible to me. So the last thing I would do is just make sure that there's nothing crazy going on around it, because they are in the same area. So yeah, we're here. Where's our subject at? The format with, and I will say, just to add on to what you were talking about earlier with Nicholas, the format of this isn't great. I actually prefer, yeah, we're super, super close here. That's your closest comp.
Wow, that's not bad.
So, and sorry that I'm not talking through this as I'm doing it. Sometimes my brain just goes off on its little thinking path. If we take a look at public record inside of the prop stream, we came up with 4329 Lind Avenue. And if we take a look, 3429 Lind Avenue is the #1 comp. I guess I should have pulled this out before I did anything, huh? But yeah, this is the kind of format that I really appreciate, because you look at the year, look at the square footage. The first thing I'm looking at is year, because generally, again, with those tight years, you know that you're in the same subdivision. With the square footage, we want to be close, and then same bed and bath count, and then we know we're on the right path. So I think you could probably get around 900 for something in this area that is retail ready, because this comp is not retail ready. You might get some pushback from buyers, but that's kind of what I would say. Do we know anything about the condition of the property?
No, can't go in yet. The
Okay,
agent lost the keys.
Lost the keys?
Yeah, they have to refine it. Yeah.
Gary does
But,
that all the time.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I do
But then the agent
lose
lost the
keys?
keys. Yeah. So they have to find it again. So
I don't lose keys.
I know, I'm just kidding. Gary is a very responsible, probably one of the most
I
responsible.
lose my mind, but not my key.
but then they found out there's structural issues. So now they say they're not going to sell it. And I was like, why are you not selling it? If there's a structural issue and you're sitting there, maybe you can just but yeah,
Wait,
nonetheless,
structural issues, did I hear you say structural issues?
You did.
Yeah, the
Ding,
agent
ding,
said
ding,
that.
ding, ding, big red flag.
Yep. Well, you want to
Like
get the scope.
foundation problems.
Yeah, and the problem
I'm
with
not sure something. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, nothing. They just say maybe the car park, they still a little bit slumped up. We haven't checked on anything yet. So it's too early stage. So yeah.
This looks like it's on a slab. I can't tell for sure, but there might be some shifting. The problem with foundation or structural issues with the 2-story is it's going to affect everything above it. So it can, that'll cause some major issues when it comes to your underwriting. So I think your ARV is anywhere from 850 to 900. Generally, when I'm doing ARVs, I have a very specific ARV, but this one, it's tough because you don't have a retail ready comp in that specific area. And I'm not seeing anything breaking the $1 million point in the last year in this specific spot. Does that make sense?
So is it okay to pursue or not? I'd say if there's no structural issue based on just this price, it's like it's a good deal to pursue, right? Because it's
typically what I'll tell you, it all depends on the condition of the property, right? I don't know. Yeah. I can't tell you what we need to go in at a price.
Sure.
But we're gonna deviate from what we're talking about today, but I will give you my opinion. So I'll just do some quick numbers for you. If we're, what was it they're asking was what again?
620.
Yeah, that's too high. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's just say we're at 850 to be conservative. You need to come in at 83% with commissions and closing costs on the other side of that in California, right? That's if somebody's paying cash. So now we're at 705. Okay. We have 1,500 square feet. So 1,500 square feet times $60 a square foot is $90,000. Okay. So that's 705 minus $90,000. We're at 615 minus your assignment fee, which could be about 15. So you're at 600, but you also have foundation issues or structural issues. So you're at 600 minus structural issues. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm sorry I don't have my iPad with me to whiteboard, but next time I will. Do you want me to run those numbers by you again?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, I think, let's say if there was no structural issue, that might be good. But yeah, now with structural issue, definitely 620 is definitely a no-go. I think it should be even 550 or even lower, basically.
Probably lower, yeah.
Yeah, so no, that's good. Thank you.
Sounds like they
But
may
if I were you
overpaid,
and I was,
huh?
what's
Sounds
that?
like they may have overpaid for it, and that's why they
Yeah.
turn around and trying to get out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they paid cash for, let's see. Yeah, 595. So at 595 into 850. So 595. That's 70% ARV that they purchased that, and it has structural problems. It's probably not a deal unless they want to take a loss.
Mm.
Well, that took 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
I was way too much time. I should have just should have just pulled up prop stream. What was I doing? All right, let's comp another one, guys. What do you guys got?
Anybody have anything else?
I'm gonna break my 30-minute record easily.
Jermaine is asking, how would you handle non-disclosure? Non-disclosure of what?
Yeah, can you be more
I meant to
specific?
say-
Yeah, Jermaine, come
Non-disclosure.
talk to us.
Non-disclosure states. So like I'm interested in going to Bell County, Texas. Out there, there is no off-market data. So I'm just trying to understand how would you guys approach that?
In terms of,
Comping it, like
you have an
what
address?
do you do? I wish I could give you an address. I'm considering moving out there. So I was just looking and I
What-
saw some tax delinquent properties, things like that.
What's the city again?
Killeen, Killeen.
Killeen, Texas.
Yes.
All right, so how do you handle that? You find an agent because you can comp on the MLS. And there are those non-disclosure states that you need to partner with agents.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm seeing 206 sold in the last year on Redfin. So let's take a look.
Let's see what we can see in Killeen.
Yeah, let's just take a look. I've never looked at this market. This is literally the first time I've ever. Let's see what's for sale. Let's clear this filter and let's see.
Now, remember, Redfin is a brokerage.
And I want fixers. And you know what I want? Oh, there's only 3. All right. So much different than California.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so visual audit. Definitely fixer. This is close to rent ready though, so this is a light flip. This looks like it has a interesting structure with a lot of land on it. Okay. This is dated, but relatively clean. Let's see what kind of information we can find. So 4 at 1200. They sure love their bedrooms in Texas. This will be interesting. You know, I've never done this where we just go through and look at these comparable programs. So in the last 3 months on public record, 1, 2, 3, you've got 7 properties to comp. If I pull up Killeen, always remember to close your tabs, guys. Let's see, are there comps on Redfin? I've got unknown addresses, off market. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These all sold in 22. So that's not a valid tool for me, but PropStream looks like it has comps from 23. We did not use Privy yet. Let's take a look. Asking price is 130. Are you trying to buy and hold? Or are you trying to wholesale? What are you trying to do, buddy?
And do a mix. Buy and hold for sure. It's a military town, so
Oops.
That's a garage in California, 130,000, right?
I can make an assignment fee. That's
I can
130.
get a garage here for that.
Okay. Let's see. We got some comps inside of Privy. Yeah, so it doesn't look like you're gonna have any problems. Okay, so let's just comp this thing real quick since nobody gave me an address. Is there any
They
address?
can, by the way they get this data is they can infer it from the listing prices, and so they can use an algorithm to pretty much guesstimate what the close price was.
I'm interested
Oh.
to see the difference between these two programs. All right, so these are all, let's see when they were sold. So 23. I've got, ooh, looks like I've got more comps here than I do on PropStream. I don't know if our criteria is the same. Let's see. I have one guy on my team who is a Privy expert. I usually just use PropStream and Redfin. Every now and again, I'll use this though. But so here's what I'm doing really quickly. Again, it's pattern recognition, guys. So we're at 64, a 1964 build. I'm going to tap this once. I want to see that it sold recently, and I want to see that it's plus or minus 10 years. So I'm probably going to stop, somewhere around this area. So I'm looking from here up, and I'm looking at square footage. These two catch my eye. I'm seeing 180, 160.
By the way, Patrick, all of a sudden we've got comps out the wazoo here.
Oh, all of a sudden, huh?
Got a few
So-
comp requests.
Generally, what I'm going to do, and this is interesting that I'm not seeing any lot sizes on this. So let's go to PropStream real fast. Yeah, we see lot sizes in PropStream. So it looks like there's better public records inside of PropStream than there is inside of Privy. However, it also appears that I'm seeing more comps inside of Privy. So I do not know if their search criteria is different, but I'm actually going to use PropStream on this one. So it's a 4.2 at 12. I'm seeing a 3.2, 64. Do we know the lot size? Let's see. 8646. Pretty damn close. So these are almost identical. The only difference is that there's an extra bed. And if we go to the comp sheet, we know that an extra bedroom is going to be around 10K. So I would subtract 10K for that difference. The last thing that we want to do is we want to check to see if this one was retail ready. And yes, it was. And retail ready is respective to each market. So these price points are less than $200,000. So if I see like a countertop like this is luxury, right? Like that's in my mind how I gauge this stuff. Stainless steel appliances, this is retail ready in this market. So for this property specifically, this one sold in April at 180. I'd probably subtract 10K for the bedroom. We're at 170 for our ARV. The last thing I would do is take a look at the differences between these two. Let's see. Did I lose my guy? Oh, here it is. And they're asking 135. So not a lot of differences in terms of, let's see. This is the red dot and 1, so they're very close together. I would say these are pretty much close to subdivisions. Not a huge difference here. Not really bordering any, commercial or busy streets or anything like that. So I think these are pretty solid comps. Let's see. This one has a garage. Does this have a garage? Maybe a small deduction if there's no garage. It looks like it might. Yeah, it does. So I think that's solid. I think your ARV on this one would be 170. And they're asking 135. So if we take that 135 and divide it by 170, we're at 79% ARV. So it's really, really high. So you have to know the construction cost numbers in this area, and also what your closing costs are, so you can actually calculate what your maximal allowable offer would be.
Okay. Thank you very much, Patrick. That helped a lot, honestly.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad it didn't take me 30 minutes. Can we comp? Oh my God, this is so funny. We actually made a bid on this property.
Which one are you doing now?
Patty Medina, do you want to talk to me for a second? What's up? Good afternoon.
Well, who's
Hello.
asking?
Yes.
Who's asking?
Patty, me,
Patty.
sorry. I'm
No,
having
what?
like connection problems.
You're getting
My
an
computer's
echo
really
there.
slow.
You're getting an echo there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we have an echo.
Mm,
Do you have two devices?
No,
Do you have a
Not that I
headset
know
or?
of.
Do you have a headset or?
You have
no,
earphones you can plug in?
nothing.
All right, we're gonna mute.
No,
you,
nothing.
Patty.
I'm on a,
Sorry, Patty. I can't stand the sound of my own voice. That's hilarious. So yeah, we actually, I think we just put an offer in on this. And yeah, that our offer is actually in. So, but yeah, I can comp this real fast. This, I was just walking properties in this area. That is super, super funny. And by the way, I think this already sold, Patty, just so you know. It's not, it didn't go under contract yet, but I know that they're countering 3 offers. So it's selling over ask. Anyways, let's take a look. That's when you know your market, right? When somebody gives you a comp that you've already made a bid on.
Right.
That's pretty funny. Okay, let's take a look at it. I already have the numbers inside of our database, but
Why don't you show how you, if you don't mind showing them how you set it up in your CRM? Showing too much?
yes.
A little peek in the window there, like
Okay.
just like looking over the windowsill.
You guys are getting an exclusive. Gary's twisting my arm. Actually, give me 1 second.
See, I know Patrick's back end, and so getting a little peek into that could be pretty cool for you guys.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Dang it. Jeffrey.
But Kevin says, since it's a broker, what are you warning us about? I don't think we have anything to warn you about. I mean, dealing with agents is different than dealing with sellers. So,
Gary, that was in reference to when you said Redfin is a brokerage.
oh, well, that's, I only made a comment about that because they have access, immediate access to MLS data. They have full coverage across the country. Just like realtor.com, which is also a brokerage, just like Compass, like, you know, a lot of these larger franchise operations, they're in all 50 states. Okay, so go for it, Patrick. Sorry.
No, you actually bought me some time. Thank you. So this is the CRM we use. It's commonly known as REI Reply, Astro Blaster. it's a white labeled version of Go High Level. So anyways, this is how we communicate with our leads, and we are building out some other stuff that will help us track projects. So how deep do you want me to go here, Gary?
I don't know, just show them in a card how you,
So
hey,
yeah,
look,
basically,
just look at this down the bottom. ARP, what's the dispo value?
yeah. So basically, when we have an opportunity, everyone who sources their opportunities will comp it, they'll underwrite it, and then they will put it into Discord. And Discord is where we do our internal communications. So we have a lot of channels in here. We have NorCal and SoCal channels, general direct agent, negotiations, and then quality assurance. Quality assurance is just basically running the numbers. We have my dispo manager who helps with comping. And it's basically just to have a second stamp of approval on the numbers before we go to an offer, right? Then we typically, take all those notes and we craft an offer and negotiate it. So with this one, 337 Arco, Patty, before it even was on market, it was brought to us by an agent and we put in a preemptive offer. Then it went on market. And so I've been communicating with this agent who's representing us. And so he sent us this message today. And he said, holy shit, we had 26 offers and they're expecting to sell above 1.2. One of the many reasons why I focus on off-market properties is the MLS is extremely competitive, especially in the peninsula, aka San Jose. So basically, I'm going to show you the MLS because I don't want you to see my off-market properties. Essentially, we have specific pipelines. Everyone has their own opportunities. Every single opportunity is basically the address and the agent's name, and then we have communication that happens on every single property between the agents and us. So we have creative, on-market, and off-market opportunities. So basically that's it. We get a lead, we vet it, whether or not it's an actual deal. And so like Louisa, for you, seeing that the mortgage and transaction history, they paid cash for it, and just quickly doing a quick comp and realizing that your maximal allowable offer would be underneath what they purchased for cash, that to you means, okay, I should probably move on to something else. So we have a pre-qualifying process, then we comp it, and then we do quality assurance where we check in with the dispo manager all the time, all the while it's living in the CRM in our pipeline.
So show the numbers for that property.
Arco?
Yeah.
I don't even think I plugged it into our.
There it is. So how did we come down to?
These were actually, I didn't actually.
Those Arcos are those older ones.
This is Arco right here.
Okay,
So these are all comps. These are all comps that sold 1.4, 1.3, 1.5, 1.5. And then this is the ARV is 1.5. Our buy price is 1.1, and our disposition price, what we would actually turn around and wholesale it for, was 1.65. So our target assignment on this was $65,000. Cool. All right. I want to move on to another one. Terrence.
Yeah, there was one more. Yeah, Terrence has got North Pinellas Park.
Should we go to, yeah,
1590.
let's go to Florida. Okay.
Now we
That's
got
all
one
my
in
secrets are
Kirkland,
gonna be.
Washington.
I will be selling them later. All right. Florida. Let's take a look.
You want to join us?
Okay, and then I'm gonna also plug this into Redfin. Okay, we'll see.
Huxley, are you going to join us?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up, dude?
Not much. I'm doing
Dude, I'm amazing. How are you?
wonderful.
Love it. Is this, oh wait, we're in the same area.
Are you in a really comfy couch or is that a bed, Luxley? Luxley,
I didn't hear that.
is that a really comfy couch you're in there?
Yes, it is.
You can just tell by the way it's got the cover on it. That looks like just the way you're in laying there. That looks super comfortable.
Very.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
that's the property.
okay.
This is off market. I met with the seller on Sunday. It's a foreclosed. I think they're being foreclosed on. The parents passed away and left it to the daughter. There was a small mortgage on it. I think it's 51,000, and that's what the bank is foreclosing. The house needs some work. They can't afford to do anything with it, so they're trying to sell it.
Cool.
They're
And
asking 260. I know that is way out the line because the house, it needs pretty much everything. It's livable because they're living there, but to move that, you'd have to do quite a bit to it.
okay. All right. So let's comp it. I'll start here with comparables and nearby. And I'm just going to go 3 months. Luckily, there's a lot of comps. That's great
Yes.
news. So 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm not seeing bed and bath for whatever reason. Not on there
It's a
either.
4-2. It's 4-2.
It's a 4-2. Okay. And do you know, is that legal? Is it permitted or did?
It's all under one roof, so I think it's legal. There's nothing added.
Okay. You definitely want to know that just going into it. Just so you have that information to your buyers. It's not gonna break a deal, but you want to, when it comes to us dispositioning to our buyers, we give them as much information as possible. If we have inspections, we give them inspections. If we know there's foundation issues, we tell them there's foundation issues. Okay, so you're a 4-2.
Yes.
Cool. Let's just do this because I'm seeing some 2-1s in here, which I would never use. I might use a 3-2 for a 4-2, but I would never use like a 2-1. So
If I rehab this, I would make it a 3-2 instead because one of the room is very small.
okay, got it. So we'll go 4 and 3. Great. That cleans it up just a bit for us. So 4-2, we're at 1971. So the first thing I usually do is I look at the top of the market because I just want to see generally what things are selling for, right? So we'll, we gotta wrap this up pretty soon here, but like I want to end with like how I pre-qualify. And we've touched a little bit on that, and like in terms of a mortgage, if it was purchased by an investor, like if you see an LLC, is it really worth time and energy to be negotiating with another investor, right? So those are the types of things that I'm looking at. So also if I'm looking at prices here, I can see that the only thing that sold in this area for top dollar was 350. Let's take a look at Privy and see what that says.
Weren't there 1 340, 1 350?
What?
There's one that sold for 340, one that sold for 350 here.
Yeah, so 350 top market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to this one. So let's see, sold 23, and then I want to look at my years. Actually, I'm just going to tap that first. I'm only looking at 23s. And so I'm just looking at top market again. And again, I'm only seeing like 365 here. So when I'm pre-qualifying things, you said their asking price was what?
260, she said.
260?
Yes.
So cool. If I take that 260 and I divide it by the 365, oops. Yeah, we're at 71% ARV. So for me, that sounds really skinny. And at around 70%, I want to see something that's like pretty light in terms of a flip. So that's when I want to start asking, are you firm on price or is there room? And then that's when the negotiation starts. Okay. So that being said, let's go through this real quickly. I'm seeing, let's see, these two are 330, 340, and they're very close in square footage. This one is also a candidate, smaller lot, but it's, oh, actually it's not, it's a 1958 build. So these two are close, 343. Let's see, these are also close. And my eye is always drawn to the top numbers because I want to see what sold the most, because that's usually going to be the retail ready homes. And I want it to be close. So this one is 365, it's 1190. This one is 12. So I'm going to take this 1190 one and take a look. And this looks really, really clean. So I'm probably going to choose this as a
fresh
comp.
flip.
Yeah. For this price point, I would consider this retail ready.
Yes, that is.
Say again?
I said that's retail ready.
Yeah, I would say for the price point, this is retail ready. So I think we've got our ARV. Now what we want to do is we just kind of want to make sure that we're not missing anything. So just do a quick virtual tour. I'm going to search both of these addresses. Again, we're just looking at, actually, let's go on the map. Is this one even on the map? Let's see. 9101. Nope, it's not here. That's weird. So this neighborhood looks like, I'd say for this market, probably like an A neighborhood, really, A minus. Looks like the same type of neighborhood. And I want to get directions to see where exactly this is, because it's not inside of my other program. Very, very close. So it's across this, is this a railroad? Yeah, it's across a railroad, but I don't, you know what? I don't think it's going to matter. And neither of these are facing or side facing any commercial or busy roads. So
No,
I think your ARV is 365.
365.
Yep. They currently have, their ask is currently at 71% ARV, which is, without me even underwriting it, I can tell you right now, it's probably not a deal. I'm going to underwrite this really quick. That's not what this meeting's about, but I'm going to do it anyways.
No, I won't pay them 360.
So
for that.
you really got to be closer to 200.
Yeah. What would, do you know closing costs and agent fees inside of Florida?
Well, it's soft market, so we don't have agent fees here,
Oh, it's direct to seller.
right?
Yes, there's no agent.
Well, you're going to be selling it with agents, so those fees will be associated to
Well, what, so it's about 7% combined.
okay. And what a flipper wants to make what? Probably like 7 to 10% on this?
Yes,
Okay, so probably 10% because it's only 36K. So we're at 17%, right? So we're at 83. So yeah, so 365 times the 0.83, you're at 305 right there. This is probably, in California, this price point is about $30 a square foot for renovation. I'm assuming it's probably similar in Florida. So we're at 1190.
Oh, they're asking 260.
well,
Right.
that's what they're asking, but I don't think, they're trying to get out of there by August. Actually, there was a foreclosure sale scheduled, but it was canceled.
Yeah,
So they have some time pressure.
So at this 1190 times 30, you're looking at about 70K of reno, right? So if we take that 365 at 83%, you're at 302 minus the 70, you're at 232. And you also want to tack an assignment onto this, which is probably, I would say, 7,000 is a
Between
reasonable.
Yeah, 7 to 10.
Yeah, I would say 7,000 because the price point, you're going to be burdening the deal if you go anywhere higher than that. So you're at 225. That's your MIO.
Like I said, closer to 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Let's pause real quick, and I want to take questions because I know you have a hard stop and I also have to take off. Okay, so guys, if you got questions, I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to try to stop my share. I know there
So
was a lot of numbers.
So
can I ask you,
can you go just who's talking?
Jermaine,
Jermaine, okay.
What's up, Jermaine?
Patrick, is it possible to like give us a homework assignment? Like you give us a few properties and we try to comp it as close as possible to what?
Jermaine, I love the way that you think. You and I are kindred spirits, my friend. Seriously. Guys, this is your homework. I want you to go to the market that you're in, the city, the county, I don't care, whatever it is. And I want you to go into Redfin and look up fixers. I really didn't want to share my screen again, but I'll do it again. So if we're inside of Redfin, fixers, or sorry, let's just, whatever, Dallas, Texas. I'm going to go into for sale. I'm going to go to my filters. This is just practice, guys. I'm going to go single family house. I'm going to click on the fixer upper. This is really important. You're not going to get a fixer unless you do that. And then if you have homes to choose from, great. If you have too many, I think 30 is a lot. I think you should comp anywhere from 3 to 5. But what I would do is if I've got more than 3 to 5, I would go up here, time on Redfin, go less than 30 days. If you still have more than 3 to 5, go less than 14, less than 7, so on and so forth. If it were you, I would actually go less than 7. And those are the first ones I'd start with. Why? Well, because they're new on market and you can make an offer on them. These are the ones that I would comp. And I would run the numbers as well if you already know how to underwrite. But comp in your area, look for fixers that are ideally less than 7 days old and bring them to our next meeting. And we will help you guys underwrite those. Okay.
Navda has a question.
Yeah, so my question was that we are looking at recent comps and relatively the prices are, at least the market I am, like the prices are reducing like, monthly basis. So is it a good idea to look at the recent comps? Like if you're looking for buy and hold or something else, because, it might happen that maybe right now it's the best deal, but over 1 or 2 years, the prices will fall more.
So you're asking, should I take a market correction if the market's going down?
Yeah, like, I mean, right now, yes, like it could be, a good deal given all the houses are, selling at such high prices, but then given the market correction, would it impact like, maybe 1 year, 2 year, nobody knows, but yeah.
Well, 1 to 2 years, nobody wants to get in and out of a deal 1 to 2 years. Most flippers want high liquidity, right? So they want to see that houses are trading anywhere from 2 to 6 months. But that's, if you are going to take a market correction, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take a correction of anywhere from 2 to 6 months, but you also have to know where those prices are going to go. Nobody really knows, right? But I know that pace can sometimes take like a 10% to 15% market correction based on where the market's going, if it's going down.
And it's, markets are very local, like people pointed out. Florida's hot, hot, hot right now. So different. You're muted, Navda.
Yeah, sorry, it
Right.
was just, talking to my.
Right. So, right now, what I'm seeing trending in California is market values are going back up again because there's not enough inventory. People are bidding up prices. So look at your local market, see if you can spot trends.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, right now it is, but I don't know if it's just just a short-term reaction, or is it going to stay, right? So, yeah.
Well, if you take a discount, you might not get the property.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Nicholas.
Yeah. So what I would do is like I did earlier, go into the Redfin market data and take a look at where things are going. And then from there, you're going to adjust. But are you buying for yourself or are you buying to wholesale?
I was buying for myself, like buy and hold kind of thing. So,
Well, if you're buying and hold, it doesn't really, I mean, it's not going to matter that much.
yeah, I mean, not, yeah.
Are you, unless you're trying to refinance, which I wouldn't do anyways because the rates suck.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I would just try to get a seller finance, but yeah, not refinance. for
I think
sure.
the number one thing, if you're going to do buy and hold in terms of what you should be looking at to assess whether or not it's a good deal, is cash flow.
Okay.
And that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
you know?
well, as Pace says, equity will come and go, but the cash will always flow. So
Right.
when you're doing buy and hold, you're looking for cash flow and you're not worried about equity until you get
Yeah.
down the road a piece.
Can I ask one more like newbie question? So
Nope, you only
because
get
I
one. You
know,
got to
like,
go. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
pace, like pace, and I know many of you stay in a sub 2, right? Like yourself as well, like creative way. So if I was say buying it for myself, in that case, how do I evaluate cash flow, right? Would I just look at the rental numbers and see that? I mean, okay, for sure, now I'm living in it, but if I had to rent it out, how do I evaluate it's a good deal or not, basically? But I'm using it for myself, for example.
You got to underwrite it. And let's do underwriting next week, Patrick.
Sure.
So we'll show you how you look at cash flow for buy and hold. We'll show you how
Yeah.
you look at quantify all the entry fees for the deal, and also show you how you look at it from how a flipper looks at it.
So I'll give you another because your question is relative, right? And so what I mean by that is it depends on who is purchasing it. And so you need to know your own risk tolerance. For me right now, if I purchase a property and break even, I'm happy. Why? Because I need tax depreciation more than I need cash flow. Right. So I'm willing to break even in my first year and not even bat an eye because I literally don't want to pay Uncle Sam. Now, if I'm, a little bit more specific in cash flow, then yeah, like if I'm an investor that has a specific cash on cash return, then you need to be able to underwrite that, which is basically, your net operating expenses. Like how much money are you actually taking in after you're paying all of your expenses overall? You also have to know how to reassess your taxes in terms of the new purchase and how the taxes work in the specific state that you're working in. All the closing costs associated to it. And basically, when it comes to buy and hold, most investors are looking at how much cash do I put in and when am I getting it back? And that's another way to say cash on cash return. That makes sense?
Got it. And what if I stay in that property myself, like use it for myself?
Again,
Using the creative techniques, but stay.
when you think about mortgages, you think about, well, do I make 3 times my PITI? Right. So it'd be no different than taking on a mortgage. But I'll tell you this right now, if you can get a sub 205%, take it.
Okay.
Generally speaking.
We'll talk about budgeting for repairs next week too. When we do underwriting, we'll spend more time in the numbers. I know we went really fast, but eventually we got to get you to the point where you can do those calcs really quickly in your brains. So one last question from Nicholas. Did we satisfy you, Nanda? Okay,
Yes,
great.
you did. Thank you. Yeah.
Nicholas, go for it.
Hey,
Turn
thanks,
your
Gary.
camera on if your makeup's not a problem,
Oh,
We'd like to see you. Yeah, looks good.
Hey, what's up,
so
man?
I think my question was probably more related to underwriting, which you'll cover. But yeah, I was wondering how you can so quickly say that's a deal or no deal. The square footage, rehab costs, etc.
How do I know how to do that?
Well, yeah, maybe you don't have time to go in it today, but maybe
The
you'll
answer
cover
is
that
really
next week.
simple. I've spent hundreds of hours doing it.
Yeah, let me ask you, Nicholas, do you buy your own groceries?
Yeah.
You go shopping. How do you know
Yeah.
if it's a good tomato or it's a crappy tomato?
Mhm.
Right? It takes you
Right.
got to learn how to spot those things, right? So
Yep.
it's kind of like that.
Well, Nicholas, I'll also be very
Mhm.
transparent with you. When I'm comping and underwriting in Texas and Florida on these Zooms, I don't know if my numbers are correct because I don't know closing costs. I don't know agent fees. I buy and hold in other states, but I don't like do wholesale and flips in other states. So I know that my numbers are probably really, really close. If we're in California, I know my numbers are like almost 100% accurate. But over time, you're going to get it. You're just going to be able to quickly do a shotgun analysis. Is this a deal? Yes or no? And then if it maybe is, then you go deeper into comping. Once you have the real value of it, then you can start to look at what's the price per square foot in terms of renovation. What am I trying to assign this at? And what is my in buyer? What costs do they have to incur? Once you subtract all of those things, you have your maximal allowable offer.
Mhm.
And once it's just like tying your shoes. You probably didn't think about that this morning, right? Because you've done it a million times. Repetition is the mother of all skill. Cool. Any other
Right, I
questions?
agree. No, I saw there was another document in the elephant group, deal or no deal. Is that, it looks like there's a link on there to watch a video. Does that tell you how to use that calculator?
Yeah, there's different calculators out there. We'll be using one I developed a few years ago next week, and I'll share it with you guys. It takes a little while to get the hang of it, but it's a great tool for what if analysis. But one of the nice things about it is it'll let us look at the wholesale calculations. It'll let us look at buy and hold. It'll let us look at fix and flip. It'll also let us look at wraps, but we're not going there next week. We're getting.
We're not going to do wraps for a real long time.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever do that, but we'll look at those three because, when you're looking at property, you're either generally looking to wholesale it, to buy and hold it, or flip it. So we'll look at those are the most popular exit strategies, and we'll see how those numbers. And once you start running them and you do them over and over and over again, you can just look at a deal and say, yeah, yuck, forget it, or yeah, that looks like it has some possibilities. Let's see what we can do with that. Truly, that's what happens. Practice, practice, practice. All right, everybody. We did an hour and a half today. Most of you, I think we were about 45 people here. We're down to 34, but I think we lose people on the East Coast as we get past 7
Yep.
East
Hold on.
Coast.
Sorry to interrupt you. Hold on one second, because I'm getting like personal messages. Guys, real fast. I rarely see these, okay, the personal messages, but just ask them in an open forum, guys, so that we can get to them and so that I can just openly answer them. So I got a JV question. Yeah, you can. It just depends on what capacity.
Repeat the question if you're going to answer it. So if we can't see.
Can I JV with you? That means joint venture for those of you who don't know that. It depends. Like really everything's negotiable. I'm working with some serious high, some players that have like a lot of money and they have a lot of experience. So that's who I'm JVing with now. But again, the purpose of these Zooms, guys, yes, maybe we can JV in the future. If it's a deal that you have where there's a seller or an agent that's motivated, bring it to us so we can help you close it. Oh, you know what? Do you want to pull up the compensation sheet?
The who?
The the compensation or the baby elephant compensation sheet.
Do I have that handy? I don't have, I would have wanted.
Well,
to
look
have
for it
both.
while I'm speaking.
All
We'll
right.
kill two birds with one
Give
stone.
me a second and I'll go.
Nicholas, the answer is yes. The purpose of these meetings, I have two purposes here. Number one is to give back. Without joining Pace's mentorship, I wouldn't be living the crazy life that I'm living. It's like a rocket. We're going to be helping you guys get into the mentorship, and we want to help give back by giving you guys more information to get you from the start to the close of a transaction or your next deal. And the secondary motivation for us is to make money. I'm here to make money because if I can help put my energy into you guys, I know that you will reciprocate it and bring me deals, or maybe we will actually joint venture truly joint venture later on. But starting now, how you guys can work with us is if you have a motivated seller or agent, bring this to the deal so we can help you close it. If you have a contract, good for you, bring it to us and we can help you find a buyer. It's called disposition. If it's California and it's a good deal, I'll have it under contract in less than 48 hours. If it's not in California, I can still help you with it. And I'll be very honest, if I don't think it's a deal, I'll let you know, or I'll point you in the right direction. Okay. So that's how you can joint venture with us. When it comes to doing like flips and actually buying property with us, that's a whole nother conversation. All right. Okay. Oh, he's going to pull it up. I'm going to look at the chat, see if there's anything in there that I need to answer.
Here it is. So every deal is based on an assignment fee of 10,000. So this is what all of the leaders have agreed to do for everybody. The idea is this is just a little on-ramp for you guys. What we want to do is get you off on your own journeys, or hopefully you'll find a team to work with, or work with someone like Patrick. There's a lot of action going on right now. So, we urge you to work with some of the other leaders as well, especially if they're focused more on your markets. So if you just bring a lead and that's all you do is bring the lead and it's closed by another team, you get $500, which is kind of a bird dog fee, a lead fee. So if the, like in this case, the Herd of Profits folks or whoever dispose the deal, it's a 70-30 split. So you would get $3,000. If the deal has to be renegotiated, so if you bring a deal that's ready to go and we're able to dispo it, then you can get 3,000. If the deal isn't ready to go and it still needs to be renegotiated, then it's $1,000. If we turn it, let's see, if you turn it into a creative or, all right, I'm not sure I understand all of this. The baby elephant is boots on the ground. So if you're also acting as boots on the ground, you get an additional $500. Boots on the ground means you take pictures, you show the property. If it's needed, you put a sign in the yard. If you are provided a list to call, the payout is 1,000, and the boots on the ground fee still, you can add to that. If you bring a buyer, you get $1,000.
You know what's not on here is, what if we help somebody close a deal that they want to move into or hold?
Yeah, well, we can't have every possibility in here. And I think that this will probably evolve a little, Patrick.
I think I should charge $1 million.
I
I'm
want
just-
to know what that license requires, So, what we were hoping to avoid is having people shopping their deals around to different groups. So everybody's going to use the same pay structure, but at least you're going to get paid something for earning while you're learning. Does that make sense, everyone? So that's the goal. And we want you to work with who you like working with, or whoever can best handle your deal. And we don't want you shopping them around.
Yep. Okay, so guys, all of you that had last minute questions, please, please, please bring those questions to the next meeting because we have to end this one.
Okay, everyone. I think we're good.
All right, guys. Thank
All
you for
right.
showing up. We will see you next week, same time, same place.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.